Let's talk about multiplying and dividing fractions. When multiplying fractions together, we would multiply the numerators together and multiply the denominators together, and that number represents our final answer, assuming it is in reduced form. Example 1 says, Maddie and Shimu threw a party last night and ordered one large vegetarian pizza. People were not very hungry because the next day they still had 3/4 of the pizza left over. Maddie and Shimu want to split the leftover pizza evenly to each take home. Create a mathematical expression that represents how Maddie and Shimu should figure out how to split the pizza evenly, then simplify the expression. So we know that there is 3/4 of the pizza left over, and in order to split it evenly amongst two people, we would divide by 2. Now, I'm going to rewrite 2 as a fraction, so we have divided by 2 over 1. And the way that we divide fractions is we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So if we're doing 3/4 divided by 2 over 1, the way that we change that into a multiplication statement is by taking the reciprocal of the second fraction, and then it becomes a multiplication statement. So this is actually equal to 3/4 multiplied with the reciprocal, and the reciprocal is just a fancy term for when you switch the numerator and the denominator. So 2 over 1, its reciprocal would be 1 over 2. And we've seen an example already where we've multiplied fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this, where I multiply the 3 and the 1 together. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then I want to multiply the 4 and the 2 together. 4 times 2 is 8. So we get 3/8. What that means is Maddie and Shimu would each get 3/8 of the pizza. So that is it for example 1. Let's next talk about adding and subtracting fractions. In order to add and subtract fractions, we must first make sure that the denominators are the same. The reason that we do this is to compare fractions that are of the same size or denomination. It would be like counting the number of slices of pizza that we have. In order to get an accurate amount of how much pizza we have, we would want all of the slices to be the same size first. The process of making the denominators match is called finding a common denominator. Example 2 says, Maddie and Shimu threw another party last night and ordered 2 medium pizzas, one with mushrooms and one with pepperoni. There was 1/4 of the pepperoni pizza left over and 2/3 of the mushroom pizza left over. How much total pizza do they have left over? So if I were to draw a picture of this, so I've split the first pizza into fourths, and I'm going to shade how much pizza they have left over. So the white represents the pizza that was eaten, and then the red portion represents how much pizza is left over. And I'm going to split this into thirds for the mushroom pizza. And there are 2/3, so 1, 2. I'm going to shade in 2 of the pieces. And we want to know how much pizza we have in total. Now, notice that these pizza slices are not the same size, so I can't really compare how much we have all together. So this is 1/4 as a fraction, and we're trying to add that with 2/3. What we could do is we could cut them into smaller slices so that all of the slices are the same size. And the way we do that is by finding a common denominator. Now, one of the denominators is 4, and the other one is 3. Whenever we multiply a fraction by 1, that's okay. We're just changing what it looks like because anything times 1 is itself. But sometimes we want to multiply by a fancy one. So for example, I'm going to multiply the first one by 3 over 3, which again, this is a fancy number 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then here, I'm going to multiply this by 4 over 4. And let's see what new fractions we get. So if I do that multiplication, then 3 times 1 will be 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. And I still want to add that with 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12. Now that the denominators are the same, our final answer is going to have that same denominator as well, and then the way that we get the numerator is by adding the two numerators that we have together. So 3 plus 8 is 11, and this is our final answer. So they have 11/12 of a pizza left over in total. In other words, the pepperoni and mushroom added together.